Hon Sulaiman Olamilekan Gadaf, formerly known as Gaddafi. I think we've known each other for a very quite long time, and one of the most, let me if I would use the word, one of the most popular youths in Kwara politics today, one of the youths that are making waves in Kwara politics. Today we'll be talking about youth inclusiveness and a whole range of issues. Because when we talk about youth, we talk about today and we talk about tomorrow. So we'll talk about the role of the youth today and what youth should be doing to prepare for the future, which is quite around. And let me introduce my guest to you. You're welcome on the show, sir.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Going by the main topic, because that's just the main topic. We'll surely talk outside youth inclusiveness. And when we say youth inclusiveness in the Nigerian context, when we talk to politics, I'm very sure you're familiar with the parent listening to your children, we are the leaders of tomorrow. And a lot of people have been disagreeing with this, we are the leaders of tomorrow, like we are ready to be the leaders. And what would you say as a youth that youth should be doing right now in the country?
Yeah, first of all, good afternoon to all the viewers at home. Allow me to reintroduce myself. My name is Sulaiman Lekan from Asa local government. I'm a youth lover and good governance advocate. And I'm also happy to meet you again, my brother. At least we've seen each other for a couple of months. Regarding to what you just said now, that statement, first of all, from my own personal ideology and from my little experience, the word "we are the leaders of tomorrow" or "the youth are the leaders of tomorrow" is a provocative statement for bad politicians, because it's often used when politics come, and it's a little bit deceptive, for us, and it's provocative for them. Like, you can't come and take over what we are doing, or we can't allow you to. So it's a little bit provocative. So for me, I do not actually believe people that said that word, or people that when people say that word or use that word for us, that we are the leaders of tomorrow. You don't even want us around this thing at all. I from my own little experience, people just like puppets. And me, I'm not a sycophant. I can't compromise easily. I have to understand what we are doing, why we are doing it. So, and not so good today, but it's even fair a little bit in what is it called here in Kwara State. The reason why it's fair is because of the kind of governments that we have.
Exactly where I want to go next. When we talk about youth inclusiveness, I think the Kwara State government today has shown the political will to introduce the youth into the fold. I think we have a 24 years old lady that has the capacity to sit at the State Executive Council. We have the Councilor Ade, and we have Joanna Kolo, we have Joanna Kolo, we have the SSAs who, if you agree with me, they were under 30. And even when we talk about youth, it even goes beyond 30. So the governor has done a lot to put the youth, to give the youth a say in the corridor of power. So what would you say regarding the giant stride being made by the state government?
Yeah, that's why I'm saying that, big kudos to Governor Abdulrahman Isiaq. Like I said it last week, I postulated a word that Governor Abdulrahman's common sense is my own consciousness. And because I realized the kind of level genius he's been able to, permeate the government, because the man is really trying. What else do we want? Considering the state of our states, then it's easy for you to hide blame on a leader unless you are there For example, someone that can't even, manage 2 or 3 people in the house, hyping blames on someone who is leading about 3 million people. Kwara State actually, that's about our population in Kwara State. So I know it's not easy, but he's trying it on its own. But most of the time when it comes to, it's always recommendation. So it depends on where you come from. Like, choosing young people, if that's where that thing actually came from. Like, if they have to recommend, it has to be somebody that they can say, okay, fine, you should do this, you shouldn't do that. But I think it's fair during this government, like, I believe he make his own research. Like, okay, fine, these are the kind of people I want in my government, So I think it's better and we are moving gradually in Kwara State.
Thank you very much. When we talk about these youth, some people have said that it is better to have youth around. For example, let me give you an illustration. When President Olusegun Obasanjo was in power, he has a lot of people under the age of 50. Like one, we have the El-Rufai, Malam Nasiru El-Rufai, Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, Obi Ezekwesili, Femi Fani-Kayode, and a whole lot of them. We have Dora Akunyili heading government parastatals that are very crucial to the economy. And the economy actually gained a lot of things going then. But coming down the drain, it seems that the youth of those days are not ready to leave power, because we still have almost every one of them at the corridor of power today. And it seems that these people seems not to understand the new narratives of governance in the world. For example, when you talk about technology to somebody of over 70, 80 years old, you have to explain to the brain before the person even understands. That's even if you understand. So that's one of the things that goes against the current administration, that it is short of youth in power, and we've had government that has a number of youths in power that has a lot of resources to show for it. So now we've talked about the state. Now what about the federal?
Well, I think I focus much more on my local government, then a little bit of state. The thing is, I'm having a kind of work overload on me right now, as being the advocate, the mobilizer, having this whole people on me, and we have to do this, we have to do that. So, but the thing is still the same thing, as we said. The same people that are there, there are some couple of people at this federal level that actually need a serious-minded youth. But now, who is going to recommend you? That is the problem. Whatever this thing we call it politics or whatever, it always has hierarchy. You get? So it doesn't really matter that you are from here or you are from there. Part of what we are advocating for is put the right people there. You understand? So you can't put a farmer where a teacher should be. It would be total zero. So I've heard a couple of times, like let me give you an example. I received a call last week. As the person called me, they said they are from African Union, West African Union, the youth wing. Hon Gadaf, we saw the work that you are doing in Kwara State. We want you to come. Okay? You want me to come and be doing African Union or West African Union or all those things? Fine, it's good. I love that. I'm happy. It's a progress for me. But the thing is, don't take me away from my people now, because I have a lot of responsibility here. If I'm this type of person that actually wants money or wants all this fame or whatever, I would have taken that offer. But I turned it down because of our people, because I believe that I have a lot of work to do, and we are only few. That's the problem I'm even having. We are only few that is actually pushing this culture forward. Like the love of my state, that is what is actually driving me. The the love of my local government as a local government is what is actually driving me, that would limit me to what I can do out of the box. It's not when it's time I will definitely do it, but one step at a time. I need to be clear about the situation of my where I come from before I go out.
Okay, now you talk about your local government, but a lot of people. Okay, let me ask you this. Definitely, in governance, there's always a room for development, or let me say advancement. To move forward, you always have a room to move forward. But if you become the local government chairman today, from what you said we should put the right people in power. I think last week on this sector, when I hosted one of the famous public affairs analysts in the state, and we talked about, he made an illustration about, when we talk about youth, it's not always about youth, we should talk about capacity and capability. He made an illustration of somebody that read out his plan for being a local government chairman in a lead audio tape, which normally does not speak to censor. And you as a youth, are you a youth? When we talk about youth, are we just putting youth there, or we are considering the capacity and the capability of the people who put there?
Yeah, I love where you actually go, and I want to put forward one of theory I postulated. I said I would rather die enormous than live a dormant. So all these jobs I've been able to put out, even if I live today, young people, the coming generation, they will be proud of me that somebody set the record. Let me give you an example. We are currently running, a couple of people actually do it, but there's limit to what I can do because of financial constraints. So I was on a program last month, or is it last month or 2 months, around July or so. So this year, and the person came through and said, Gadaf, I love the way you address the people, and I've seen a couple of your job. I want to help you. And I said, okay, who are you? He explained himself, and he said, okay, fine, whatever you want to. I said, we don't beg for anything. That even alone, that statement alone, I didn't realize it was a word to him. He said, you don't beg for anything. That he's even scared of asking me, because most of you youths are always like, okay, give us something. And I was talking to him and I said, we don't need anything, but whatever you want to do, do it. And the guy said, okay, fine, we are going to give you a certain amount. Immediately, they sent the money. I added few to it, and we use it to organize summer lesson for our people in Nasa local government, our children in Nasa local government, I mean primary school and secondary school. And right now, we are thinking of scholarships. So these are the kind of things that I'm focusing on, that we have to move forward. How can you call a 10 years old child, where I come from, and you speaking English, and he or she couldn't respond? It's a shame on us. And as a leader, it should be a shame on such a person. So these are the things that I'm trying to work on. Not only that, we have done a lot of things. The scholarship is coming up, and I'll keep doing it. That's why I said, even if I, step aside or leave right now, I died enormous.
Alright, maybe I might have some reservations, because I think at the age of 15 I couldn't even speak English, and my English today, then let me say, it's to a certain level. I don't even have the adjective, maybe because I started speaking English late. But okay, now let's talk about this as a local government. There's little to what you can do outside power. So, but if the state resources is at your behest, you'll be able to do more than you're currently doing. We have seen what you're doing. So let's say, when you get to power, what are your plans as a youth? Okay, if Gadaf become the local government chairman of Nasa local government today, what are your plans? Okay, what are your visions? What are your missions?
Yeah, for now, I wouldn't want us to digress, because this is not a better place for us to get into that because there's a little bit more to what we can do. Because me, I would rather be a better team player, have all these people. They are different experts. Like you can't do it alone.
Okay, this is it.
But yeah, it's okay.
This is it. Let me put it this way.
All
You
right.
talked about a 10-year-old girl that could not speak English. That means you have a vision of going around that and changing the narrative. That's a vision. You don't need an expert to tell you that this girl do not speak English. You don't need an expert to tell you that this is how we go about it. Now that's your vision. Okay, maybe this is what I want to do if I become the if I become the Kaguru local government chairman, as my name is, maybe in the health sector, the primary health sector, this is what I want to do. The education sector, this is what I wish to see. Then the expert will come in and say, okay, sir, this is what you want, but this is how we can go about it. Then there will always be changes. So you can't get it 100%. Even if you have the proposal, everything is there in the proposal, there will always be things you did not prepare for. So I'm not talking about your plans. I'm just talking about your vision for us as local government.
You mentioned a plan initially.
Okay,
Thanks for
forgive my semantics.
Okay, right, no problem. Then let's proceed. Having a vision is always a catch-22 for me. Like, I don't sleep every day without thinking of new things. And I always charge people around me to also do the same thing as well. So it's easier for someone to advise me, like, okay, fine, this is what you should do. It's already part of the plan. It's only came right now, so let's do it. Now, the thing is, from the question you ask, if someone go to our media page, any of our media page, we have our records, mostly like maybe 70% of what we have been doing, because we can't even keep track of everything, but at least 70%. Now, on the education side, I feel I can't come in right now as I'm not part of the system at the moment. But what can I do as an individual? Then I come up with a summer lesson. That is also part of eradicating such, should I call it, menace, because it's a shame where we don't have young people that are actually vibrant, that are fluent. It actually affects our own generation, like you said. So it's a pity on us, but us. When I say us, I'm talking as a youth. Like some of us, it's still affecting us right now. But you actually know what you went through for where you are today, and we can actually count it out that out of your colleagues that such pandemic actually affected, you can only count like maybe 5% of people like you who are proud of themselves today. Every child needs a better environment, either in politics or out of politics, either with the help of government or not with government. So now, apart from that,
let's say on that education. As I read bits about leadership. And one of the people I believe in said that sound education can never be free. It can only be cheap. It can never be cheap. It can only be free or expensive. So for anybody to tell us that he or she is subsidizing education, I don't believe in that ideology. There's no way to subsidize education. It can only be free or expensive. So if you become the chairman now, to an extent, I know that the primary education will be under your board.
yeah, sure.
So are you planning to make it free and accessible, or you are planning to make it expensive? Because I believe that sound education can be expensive. Because if you go to Harvard University, as popular as it is, you have to pay your house to get out of that.
Well, considering where I come from, I think if you want to launch an expensive education, it will fail. I study my people. I know what they want. The thing is, it can always be free. Well, okay, let me give you. Let's go a little bit deep about education. education for me, what does it mean? It means creation of a sound body in a sound mind. A child that doesn't have what to eat, and you think such a child will be able to have a meaningful education? You think you teach them something and they would know it? That is some of the reason why I put a couple of things forward. I did what is it called, empowerment in Asa local government. My mentality, the reason why I put up that, it is just for the sake of people to have a meaningful life. We cannot all be rich, we can't have all this money, but we can have this little money to maintain, feed our family, and so that is my ideology there. Now tell me, a woman or a father that is being able to provide, put food on the table. Okay, next thing is just for you to go to school. What is your excuse?
Okay, exactly. You talk about education, creating a sound mind and a sound body. Okay, now the thing is this. When you talk about education, to a layman, it means going to classes and getting certificates. But to an extent, I know that you are an educationist. And I know as an educationist have been clamoring that our classrooms are overfilled. We need to start to tell people that some of us will go to primary school and stop there. Some will go to secondary school and stop there. Some will have the opportunity of going into the university, college of education, and then polytechnic. Then you start choosing your fields of specialization. So, what are your plans about skill acquisitions? Because you talked about if a parent that could not send their children to school, why don't we build their children that by the age of 15, the children can start helping themselves with the skills they learn?
Last year, I embarked on a project. I was renovating some schools in Asa local government. I don't have money to build schools. Now,
even the government will have to wait.
So the thing is, part of the reason why I comment, you see me, I'm not this kind of parochial person. I look into why something is happening and I do it because the HE Governor Abdulrahman Abdulrazak launched 600 classrooms for. So that was a very good approach to education. Now, part of what I saw last year, that a conducive environment is also very, very important.
Very germane. Very, very
for the students. And that is why I came up with that. I don't care. I need these children to be educated because education is the fundamental remedy, according to Professor Patutomi.
Yeah.
So that is what to be.
I think we're talking too much about children. Don't let the older people be angry. So are you only concerned about the children? Let's talk about other sectors too, like skill acquisition. And I think for you to start learning skills, I know there's no specific age, but there's no limit to where it can start from, and there's no limit to where it can end. How do you plan to help the older people to be able to feed themselves and in return feed their families? Because a lot of people have the problem of not being able to discover themselves. It's not as if they can't do things, but they don't know what they can do. So what are your plans for older people?
Yeah, I'm more of an action person. I don't really talk much about what I would do, and it depends on the situation. Let me just give you 2 or 3 examples. Like regarding the skill acquisition, we look into what can you do before we launch the 70 people that we give empowerment, and some of them are still praying for us to do that. Thank you very much. If it wasn't for you, my little business would have collapsed. And if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be able to start this thing. And that aside, now let's talk about the youths. My involvement, my day-to-day interaction with them. What I met on ground is totally unbearable. You see, part of the reason why I like most of our youths here in Kwara State is that they are so enduring. enduring in the sense of you might be using another aspect to look at it. But for me, I know that if I should follow you for 5 years, and I can't even boast of 10,000 naira for that 5 years, it's a shame on you as a leader. Because you have not been thinking about us, you're only thinking about yourself. But you know, right now, I'm proud about, I'm not in any position, I don't have that large money that, okay, it is because of your money, that it is just little idea that we are applying. The person, for example, my DG, Akim Olubibono, has been in politics or has been active in politics for like 15 years. He was there before me, right? It's obvious. But I called him and I made him my DG, and right now he has his own business. You understand what I'm saying? We can't, when we first came, if 50 of us is going out, going somewhere, or probably maybe going to a village, or I would be the one to look for transports and all this thing. It wasn't easy for me. But you know, right now, I think I have peace of mind that my people are doing fine. You know, for example, my DG, he has his own business, he's supplying coal in Lagos. The person we choose as an head in Afon, Aliza, is, I told him, you should do something. What can you do? And he came up with like maybe 3 ideas. Okay, fine. This is what will make sense around where you live. Okay, go and be doing it. You know, we collected the loan and we put him, he's also doing fine. Like maybe 10 of us are doing fine financially. I don't expect them to have these millions, because me myself, I don't have it, but little to feed your family and go about, that is the basic need. So
okay. If you can do all this without being in power, let's talk about what should be your plan if you are able to get power. What will you do for
exactly what I'm saying, that
MSMEs, the SMEs, and all those things in national local government? What are your plans? At least you have had your rapport with them, and you've seen to understand, you've seen their needs, you've seen where the shoe pinches. So, what's your plan?
Exactly what I'm saying, that I'm more of an action person. I don't talk much. Like, it depends on the situation. There's this question I stop people asking me, that where do you see yourself in the next 5 years? Me myself, I don't know. I only, lay out the plan and leave everything to God. I don't even know who would be there at that moment. I don't know what will happen at that moment. I don't know the climate situation at that moment. I don't even know what the demographic would be, what the population would be, and these are the factors you have to consider before you strike an operation. So, but one thing I want to assure you of is that if I'm doing this right now, if I'm part of the system, I think I can do 3 times better. Yes,
right. Okay. Now, I think we talked about education, and most of us are local governments is rural areas. So one of the things people in the rural area complains of in our lives, potable water. And when we talk about healthcare, it can be reactive or proactive. If you provide drinkable water for people, then you have less cases of cholera or fly biting people and all those things if people have drinkable water. And then what about the drainages? If flies are not coming inside the house? I could remember I read about a pollution in the Assam government at the time, I think, was in the 90s or in the 80s, that actually gave birth to the Asadam, due to the popular Asadam today, when people did not have drinkable water, and then it started causing leprosy, if I'm not mistaken. So now, what's your plan? What is your vision? Don't let us talk about plan now. What is your vision for this healthcare? I know for healthcare sector.
Well, coming back to healthcare, you see, everything you want to talk about, like, I'm automatically there already. In our local governments, I've been able to repair about 15 boreholes. The one that has stopped working for more than 10 years. The one that has stopped working more than 5 years. The one that has stopped working since last year. and these people will walk about 20 kilometers to get water. Some of them drink dirty water. In this 21st century, that is why I always emphasize that me that don't have money, because it's a shame on somebody that have money and refuse to help the people. You know, so that alone, bad water, we know how dangerous it is to health. Coming back to where we are going. So, from my own little side, I can't build hospitals, but I can give you what would make your health better. And one of the things that actually hinder our health is what we take in. Forget all these things. We are all prone to one or two diseases, but the most dangerous ones are what we take in, our food and our drink. That is why I go on that aspect that first off, they should have a clean water. And we flag off the projects, then have been as successfully, repair about 15 boreholes in our local government, and we are not stopping. That is why I tell you that. You see all this, I know we are. Okay, this is what we should face, or this is what we should address. But my brother, don't let me lie to you. All these things, building hospitals, building roads, are just compulsory for government to do.
I'm not saying we should build new hospitals.
Yes, if we have good hospitals.
I want you to get me right. There are hospitals that are not working to capacity.
Yeah.
So if you want to build new ones, why don't you first equip the ones you have on the ground, make them work to capacity? So I know that even in the lorry, I know people that still give birth in their houses. Even inside the lorry, I know people that prefer to give birth in their houses. So how do you plan to resuscitate the state of health in your local government? Like, what do you want to do? I know you would have been to some hospitals and you'll be like, I can't even allow them to inject me here.
Yeah.
So, and then some of your people will live there, will eventually become the local government chairman. The people that will live there will look up to you as the number one citizen of the local government. So, exactly where I'm going with my question, like, what do you want to do for them health-wise? Are you recuperating the health sector, or you are doing something new? How do you want to, what do you want to see? Don't even tell us how you want to do it now. What do you want to see?
Of course. You see, I've seen someone who died last year because of there was no treatment. And like I said, all these things is normal for me. It's a simple approach for me. Like, we need good doctors, and we have it here. But there was this debate that happened online last week. They're talking about our doctors are traveling out. They will treat us here.
No, I don't know. I just want to come. I want to.
So
I want to mend that. Our doctors are no more traveling out. Our doctors, the job is now coming to them. You could read the statement about our doctors being interviewed inside our own country for a job outside the country, and a lot of them was the there was even no interview. They'll just go there with their results, check the result. If the result is authentic, you are going. Yeah. That was what happened. They are not even traveling. The job is coming here to look for them.
Yes, that's true. So we need in the end, because most of the time we only focus on the city. You understand, the urban area, and then we forget these people in the rural community. So the thing is just, when we've been able to provide good doctors, medications, conducive atmosphere for healthcare, then, because for us right now, we know what it takes. Like, you can't just dwell into health sector and say, we know it's a very, very expensive area. You can't say, okay, because you painted this thing, you have helped the healthcare. there's more to that. They need a lot of machines, new technology, and all those things. That's why I said it's an easy thing for me. I'm more of a doer than talker. So all these visions, we have it. We bring new and modern technology in, to treat our people, go for regular checkup, and all these things, orientating our people on what they should eat and what they should not eat. This is very, very important. Like, some people are still eating what is actually killing them, and they don't know. But orientating our people and getting them, making it easy for them to access a good health care, I think that is very, very important. So, regarding to all these things we've been talking about, like I said, when you are in the position to have a dialogue about, okay, fine, this is what we should do, you come out and prove your real self. Right now, let's just keep it on, okay, fine, our capacity and the youth inclusive.
It's talk about dialogue. I think the last segment today is for politics, and you have to talk politics here.
Bro.
Your party, the APC, all over the country, there is rancor everywhere. Now let's domesticate it. In Kwara, we have factions, and it's always, it's almost a boomerang now. And as a person, as a youth, you say, Yoruba people will say, "Ibiti erinmeji batija." And the people we have at loggerheads, they seems to be older. Whether you like it or not, you have young people on one side, young people on the other side. And from what you said, you are projecting a vision for the youth. Like, let's forget our differences and let's do what will benefit us. So, let's talk about the party itself first. What do you see in the party?
You see, you started up with Yoruba, and I'll remind you of a Yoruba adage that said, "Aponle ara gogo, apupu ara gogo, agogo to ba mejila, apada wa lu eyokan." And it's further goes like ti aruba gbona titi apada tutu. That is my own African ideology, because I'm more of a Pan-Africanist. So you see all these things. I try my possible best, and with our people, that it is none of your concern. And I've proved it most of the time. Reason why, problem, because I call it problem. And most people refuse to accept it's a crisis. You see someone argue that no, it's not a crisis, it's not this, it's not that. I accept that it's a problem. And the thing is it's not even a toxic aspect for me, because even among families, you fight, you have grievances, you have indifferences, and talk less of a lot of people, thousands of people that came together for different background, different well, I've forgotten this word, interest. So you should expect that. And now go back to my Yoruba adage. You see, the thing is, it will all, I believe, because like I said, I'm a peace lover. It will still, resolve itself, because my only area of interest is the youth. And I call them and tell them, this is none of your concern.
Exactly. Exactly where I'm going in that. Personally, you are a very, very respected youth in your local. Don't let us talk about the state. What have you tried to do to make sure this menace, because I will call it a menace in your party. Okay, let me use your word, the crisis in your party. What have you done to curb it personally in your own locality? How hard have you tried? Have you been able to reach out to people?
Yeah, well, what I actually do is when it first happened, as in before this whole thing, and something happened in my local government when they are on the same camp. I was in with them, and they had a misunderstanding. The reason why I don't want to mention him is because when me and you have something, I don't know, maybe you choose to talk about it publicly, but I'm sure you would get me right. They had a misunderstanding, and it led to physical violence. And one person said they are going. They left the group. They left the what is it called? The local government political system, and they said, we are going to build our own. And the first thing I did was to go to that person and talk to him that, sir, you can't go. You should resolve. And he was telling me, what if they have killed me, blah, 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 stuff like that. Okay, I went to the other side. See, let us resolve this thing. And God so good, as we are trying to resolve it, the ones on ground now split to two again. It now became three. Now issues get complicated. So, I didn't know what to do than to just talk to everybody. I tried my possible best. But God so good, the one that is on ground that split to two now came back. And I wasn't be able to resolve the third one. They went, in fact, they went to another party. They first of all said they are third force. And they called me out of respect. They said, yo, Gadaf, we respect you in our local government. And whatever we want to do, we don't want you to see us like, okay, we respect you, we are going. And I said, you've been here before me. You've been there, you've done it all, with or without me. So I wish you all good luck if you insist that is what you want to do. So after a couple of months, they declared the new party they joined. I couldn't do anything, but I tried my possible best to resolve it. But at least the ones on ground as well, we've been able to resolve it. Nobody wins when the family feuds. That's what I told them that day. We all get screwed.
Alright. And the last thing on my agenda is that in your local government, the federal representative seems to be the lowest ranked house member in terms of representation, being sponsored, feedback, and a lot of things. And as a youth, you believe personally, don't dodge. Okay, don't let me say Gadaf. You know that somebody could have done better. Don't let us say Gadaf. Somebody else could have done better. And how hard have you tried? And then what do you want to see the next time around when election comes around? How are you seeing the situation now? And then what do you want to see next time around about your federal representatives that a lot of people said allegedly has not been performed?
No comment.
Alright, I think we have to draw the curtain here. Thank you very much, sir, for gracing the occasion. We hope we have some other times to have more constructive and objective conversations. Thank you very much, our viewers of the country here once again on our program, Just Politics. We've been talking with Mr. Sulaiman Olamilekan Gadaf. It has been lengthy, constructive, and objective. See you next Thursday. Have a lovely day.